face Eric Moreno Sr. in the championship final of this tournament. In a game that went virtually right down to the last kick. Tech scored a goal with a little over 3 minutes left, a little number that just rolled and squeezed in the net to tie the game at 1. They went into a shootout, and the goaltender, Pedro Bamaca, was outstanding for Tech in net. He made 3 big saves of the 5 shots on net in the kick, and was virtually a penalty kick situation. And in the shootout at the end, Tech won it 3-2, and that gave them the win in the tournament. Both teams get the tie for in MIA purposes, but that win in the shootout propels Tech into the championship final, and they will play the winner of this one. From just outside the 35-yard line, the free kick coming for Glasgow. They line drive it, headed away by English. It goes out of play. And if you missed any of the other games or all the other games, you're getting a good look at the brand new Manning Field. Workers came in, they shut the place down, they tore everything up, put new track in, new turf, had to put new lines in because there's rugby and lacrosse now. Those lines weren't in before because the field had been set up years ago. And now they've got all the different lines in, which confuses everybody. They did a tremendous job. The workers here, they work long hours out in the solid heat, and you all know how really hot it was. And they were out. And when you're outside, you'd say, well, it's 90, 92, 93. Get down on the turf out here, and it becomes a lot hotter. They did a tremendous job, and now when I turn around, I look at Fraser Field, and they've started over there. It's going to be a brand new Fraser Field. There'll be turf in the outfield. Everything will be brand new. And looking at it now, it's completely torn up from center field all the way over to the right field foul line, all torn up. Pitcher's mound, infield. They haven't started working on left field yet, but they will. And they'll be here every day. And when they get through, we'll have a brand new Fraser Field, and colleges will want to have places like this. The young people here, the players, the adults that use the fields will love being here. And I wish I could be here when all the visiting people come in and look. All the people coming in from Malden, Medford, Chelsea, Everett, Arlington Catholic, Bishop Fenwick. When they all come in and look and see this field, they'll let up a gasp and say, this place is great. And the kids are very lucky in the city of Lynn. And I hope all these young people appreciate all this. And a lot of credit goes to former Mayor Tom McGee. He was a staunch supporter of anything that involved the kids, the children. And he worked hard to get the funds to make this happen, along with the city council. Congratulations to everybody involved. That shot goes wide left. It stayed in play. And he dribbled it, knock it home. The ball didn't go out. I think everybody thought the ball was going to go out. It hooked left. It looked like it was going to go out of play. They kept it in play. 15. They kept it in play, and sitting right there, I'm going to say right about the 5-yard line. Jose Ailman, with the left foot, just ripped it. And just like that, English grabs a 1-0 lead. It was almost like everybody stopped. The shot came from the near side. It hooked, missed the net, looked like it was going to go out of play, and just kept hooking and stayed in play. And it got tipped and wound up on the foot of Ailman. And he said, "Thank you very much," as he just hit a radar shot, a sonar shot. And Alvarez had no chance. And English grabs a quick 1-0 lead. Headed out by Classical. Every year this has been going on, and I apologize, I do not know what year this is. It's been going on for a long time. And every year the proceeds of this tournament are given to a needy charity. And for a great cause. And they do it again this year. They waited a few seconds before they blew the whistle for their contact. This year, the proceeds go to benefit Celebrate Life Through Softball. It's a tournament that was played this year and hopefully will be carried on in memory of Francesca Galizzi, who was a outstanding athlete in the family, great family name in the city, especially with Lynn Sports. And it's a great tribute to Francesca. And hopefully that tournament can continue on. The free kick coming from the 20-yard line. And it went in off the goaltender. They drilled it. It looked like the goaltender had the save. All of a sudden, it was a free kick, line shot. Alvarez made the save, but when he made the save, he tipped it. It went over his head and went into the net, and that was Christian Benitez with the goal to make it 2-0. And Eric Moreno, the coach of Classical, says, "I want a timeout to talk about it." Coach Moreno had a little discussion with his team. English is taking it to him in the early going. Scoring twice. And they've controlled it quite a bit. It's hard for me. I still can't get used to the fact that these two teams are in the Greater Boston League. After all the years in the Northeastern Conference. I'm just glad we don't do the away games, because Wasn't too bad going to Salem or Peabody or Marblehead or Swampscott, but going to Chelsea and Medford and Somerville and Everett, Malden, especially traveling the highways with all the traffic. Tough on the families that follow these teams because you're going to play a football game in Somerville at 6 o'clock. If the parents are going, they have to leave like at 3 with all the traffic and he was keeping the pressure on. Classical can't get it out of their end. Now they finally do. Down the far side. And we got a body going down. And he didn't blow the whistle. English is going to kick it away. They took a body down. I thought they were going to give Classical a free kick. But they let him play a little bit. Sliding across, the Classical player went down. And he's still down. There was contact made. English and Classical coming together at the 40-yard line. Now he's up and walking around. He's okay. And he's actually jogging. Soccer players are the biggest phonies in the world. That was a very quick recovery. He looked like he was shot by a gun. It was laid out, and he didn't go to the sideline. He jumped up and ran across and stayed on the field. Ball go out of play. Are we getting a penalty kick? I didn't see the takedown. There's been a few takedowns. No call. Now they call it, and Classical's going to get a penalty kick. And they knock it home. What was the number? Halimi, we finally find out. It's always very difficult to come up with the numbers. Halimi is one of the better players, Classical, veteran, senior captain. Big part of their success last year. Now we got a takedown just at the last second. They made a little move around Classical. Classical went for the ball and got the ankle instead of the ball. The player went down, and English will get a free kick. from the 15-yard line. And it'll be 15 taking it. Ilmo has one of the goals for English. We're looking for his second. Blocked right back to him, but deflects away. He has to track it down. Hoskell finally took it away, and he kicked it away. And English will let it go out of play. Eddie Romero putting it in play. And Classical takes it away. And they bring it back the other way. They knock it deep. Foot race. English will get there first and knock it out of play. Good lead pass. Classical hustling. And English hustle back on defense. Got there first and knocked it out. 15 minutes into this first half of this, the last game of the two-day opening of this 2022 City Championship Tournament. The girls yesterday, St. Mary's and Classical both winning. It was Lynn Tech lining up in a shootout in the first game after trailing 1-0, tying it at 1, and then winning it in a shootout thanks to their goaltender, Pamaka, who made 3 great saves. So half of the championship final is decided. Lynn Tech and the winner of this one, and right now English is leading 2-1. St. Mary's will play the loser of this one. Tech will play the winner. And we mentioned before, if Classical happens to come back to this, it'll be an all-Marino family final for, yet again, it's happened a few times. English coming back. Got blocked away from behind. They get it back. Hoskell broke it up, took it away. Nice job. I'm not sure what they called there. The Hoskell player went around, kept his balance, didn't go down. A couple of seconds later, they blew the whistle and called contact on. Compared to what they're letting go, that was like a love tap. That wasn't even contact. Classical will get to kick it away. English knocks it away. Classical controls, keeping it in. English knocks it away. Classical winds up with it. They kick it back to their end, trying to get something started. Classical coming back. They pushed it a little too far ahead, got knocked loose. Classical got it back. English again kicks it away. English lost it. And Classical battling forward. English knocked it into their own bench area. Classical will get the throw in. Back in the middle. They get away from that check. Glasgow with it. They push it ahead. And English, nice defense, knocks it away. Precious Akandi had that nice defensive play. And actually, it wasn't him. And now they call that takedown. It was Dario Gomez, 2, not 12, that made that defensive play. And now it's Gomez who rips the Glasgow player down, just spun him and knocked him down hard. Right about the 20-yard line. And the player is still down. Thank God he's getting up. The free kick coming from right around the 21-yard line. 22 maybe. Almost dead center. Pushing everybody back, lining everybody up, everybody picking a partner. English trying to play defense. Glasgow's trying to get loose, maybe get a shot. They drill it, and it took a nice bounce. So there's no couple of white shirts looking for a rebound, but there wasn't any rebound. Zayas got the very good hop. It bounced one hop right into his midsection. He was able to field it easily. And English brings it back the other way. Halfway through and counting this first half. 2-1. English, Glasgow getting it back in a little bit with that penalty kick. Glasgow knocks it away. They collect and they knock it deep. English knocks it away. Glasgow with it. And another knockdown and no call. The player is still sitting down. He's going to get up. He got knocked down hard. So compared to what that other little nudge they called before, this was like a takedown in wrestling with no call. Nice job, Glasgow's taking away and controlling it. English with a nice defense takes it away. They knock it deep, foot race, and it'll go off Glasgow and out of play. English with the throw-in. Tip. Deflected by Glasgow. They knock it deep. Glasgow coming back the other way. English breaks it up. slip, bang, body go down, no call again. They're being very selective in what they're calling and not calling. And slipping and getting underneath the ball carrier was the defender, Eddie Romero. He knocked it away. Knocked away. Klasko gets it back, knocking it toward the net. And Zayas comes out, grabs it, and he'll kick it away. And he boots it well past midfield. And Klasko winds up kicking it out. He pushed it, went right through everybody, and nobody could get a foot on it. It came from the 25-yard line on the near side, went all the way through inside the 5-yard line, almost dead center of the net, moving towards the far side, but nobody could get a foot on it from English to redirect it. Glasgow finally was able to track it down and kick it away. And here's another takedown. That one's called. So this free kick will come from outside the 25 at a right angle. They get it off the top crossbar. They knock it back. I'm not sure what the whistle was for. That hit the top crossbar. I don't know if they thought it hit over the top crossbar without a play. It bounced back. Glasgow actually headed it toward the net. It wasn't until after that they blew the whistle. And Zayas will kick it away. Knocking it back, Klasko looking to go get it. English lets it go out. And they're going to call it off Klasko. Zayas again will use that right foot. Glasgow will collect. Get back to their own end. They give it back to the goaltender, Alvarez. Try and get something started. Here's another takedown from behind. And again, he got knocked down. He went down. The ball got kicked ahead, and then they blew the whistle. So it was a late whistle again. The long kick, English got a piece and knocked it away. The pass was behind the player there. Trying a little give and go. Blocked. Classical gets it back. Blocked again. Classical picked off the clearing pass. They go deep down the far side. The shot goes out of play behind the net. Substitutions for both teams. Haskell got there first. Got tipped away. Sliding it down. Trying to get around. Trying to get a chance to maybe center it out in front. Body goes down. The ball goes out of play. It's off Classical. And Zayas will use that right foot again. More bodies laying down and standing up. Free kick just inside the 20-yard line. It gets blocked, rolled to the side of the net. Zayas comes out and grabs it before anybody can get there. There was one white shirt there, but he didn't really have a chance to get the ball. Glasgow gets it. English takes it away. Sliding and knocking it loose. Glasgow knocks it loose again, and they wind up with it. They try to pass it back. It got picked off by Benitez. Haskell takes it back. 10 minutes and counting left. 2-1 English. Just kept in by Classical. Hustling down. In the middle. Couldn't take the shot. They're walking in. And they score. It got deflected away. And when they took the shot, it got deflected right on the foot. Classicals come back to tie it up. Jaron Emmanuel Morales. So after being down 2-0, Classical says, we'll see your 2 and we'll get 2. It was nice passing in the middle, great hustle to get the ball downfield. It went in the middle. When they took the shot, it got deflected to the near side, and Morales was right there, picked off the deflection, walked in and drilled it. And we're right where we started, dead even. So all that momentum that English has, they now see Classical take it away. Now it's Classical Ram momentum. And another takedown right in front of the official. But again, the ball was in play. The Classical made a play. They made a little deep, started to go upfield, and then they blew the whistle. Seven minutes and counting left in this dead even first half. Glasgow picks it off. They knock it towards the net. They knock it wide right of the net. And Zayas once again will kick it away. We've already had one tie, and we'll mention it again since we have a tie. If it ends a tie, we'll have a shootout, penalty kicks by both teams. But because somebody has to go into the championship round, normally it would end a tie, it would be a tie. So for MIAA state tournament purposes, if it ends a tie, it ends a tie. Both teams get a point. But because someone has to move on to the championship round, they would have the penalty kick phase to see who moves on, not who wins the game. And the same would happen in the championship round. In the consolation rounds, it would just be a tie. The game would be over because nobody's moving on anywhere. Here, somebody from here has to move on to the championship round to take on Lynn Tech. Just the same way as Lynn Tech, St. Mary's ending in a tie. Somebody had to move on to play in the championship round. They had to have a shootout. They kick it very deep. Glasgow started out very slowly. They had really up against it. English really took it to them in the early going. They got the 2 goals. And since then, Glasgow has picked it up a bit. Obviously, they picked it up getting 2 goals, but they picked it up with their intensity and their defense and passing. And they're a different team now than they were in the first few minutes. Coach Moreno was probably saying, I wish we started this way, because they'd be leading 2-0. Broken up. Glasgow tips it by. Knocks it deep. Foot race. English gets there first and knocks it out. And Glasgow will get the throw in down deep. Circling, they dump it. They take the shot, it got deflected. They lined it up nicely from the 15-yard line. Just as they was taking it, they got a piece of the shot. Loose. Classical knocks it home from the corner kick. Everybody fighting for it. It wound up loose. Classical winds up with it, and he knocked it home. Ima Omar Payas Gonzalez. Try to say that 5 times fast. So after English scored the first 2, Classical scores 3 in a row, and that's a backbreaker with 3 minutes and a second left. As that flock of geese comes flying over, we probably got that on camera. They were low enough. They love it over here, and they love it over at Fraser Field. Because usually with all the events, there's usually food left around someplace. It goes all the way through to Alvarez in net. Alvarez was under fire early. English got those first 2 goals. He's been sitting there a little bit quiet for quite a while. Those are easy for him, those long range. Headed away. English collects. They haven't had any trouble really getting it down to the Classical end, but they've had trouble getting a shot off. Nice defense there, blocking that long pass. That couldn't have been a breakaway if they don't get the foot on that pass. We're in the final 2 minutes and counting. Huge comeback by the Rams. English from long range kicks it wide left. So the Classical fans were sitting on their hands in the early going, down 2-0, wondering if they were even going to get a shot on net. And all of a sudden, with the English fans cheering a 2-0 lead, all of a sudden it's totally reversed. As they blow the whistle to end the first half, English got that 2-0 lead. The Classical fans were happy, thinking it was going to be a nice win, even though it was early. And then Classical fans a little down in the dumps, and then all of a sudden, Classical fans cheering English fans down in the dumps as Classical scores 3 in a row. So English led 2-0. Classical scores the last 3 of the half, and at halftime, it's Classical 3, English 2. Hi, Dawn. Just a thought. When your kids were here last night, and I explained to them that Classical was doing the game, but I said, make sure you tell Dawn you get paid for the games, because you were here. So I told them to make sure for that. But also, they said they were coming back tomorrow, and I erroneously said, no, that's an away game. But it's not. The girls are here tomorrow. All right, so that's newbie and the girls. All right, so just check your schedule. I didn't want to screw things up. You know, because I told newbie he could do all the girls' games. And then I mistakenly, I think it was, I was trying to think of my schedule, and I was thinking that I crossed it off and said it's an away game, but I think it was the boys that were, if they are playing, they're away. The girls are playing at home. So those the 2 kids who were here last night said they were coming back Thursday. They're correct. They should come back Thursday. Tomorrow, I guess. Okay? All right, so we're on the same page. We should be okay by now the rest of the year, because everything should be just following with the schedule. Yeah, well, I understand, because on the schedule they gave you, it did say St. Mary's at Lynn Tech, you know, which would make it a home game, but it's the tournament, and where there was, before school started, Tech filled us after get everybody together to do it unless we all set for it. So we should be okay now. All right, thank you. I'll see you soon. Right. Yeah, that's right, yeah, yep, Saturday night. Okay, thank you. Glad I got good camera people. We're back on. I'm back on. We started the second half. Classical leading English 3-2. Classical still in the white. English still in the red and gray. And it's now English that has to pick it up. English scored those first 2 goals very quickly. And since then, it's been all Lynn Classical. Classical breaks it up and knocks it out. English will get a corner kick. This is the 4th game of the tournament. We had 2 girls' games. St. Mary's girls shutting out Tech, Classical shutting out English. They'll meet in the girls' championship final. We had the game, very nice game, won in a shootout. Tech coming from behind to tie it at 1 with just about 3 minutes left in the game. And then winning in the shootout with their goaltender, Pedro Pamaca, making 3 outstanding saves on 5 penalty kicks in the shootout and giving the team the win and moving them to the championship final. As I mentioned before, Classical has got that. They're loose out in front. They almost got a shot on net, point blank range. Classical. English just able to get a piece and knock the ball away. That was in close. But with Eric Moreno coaching in Classical, he's a half away from making it. I think the last 2 years has been Tech and Classical meeting. And that's father and son, Eric and Eric Jr. I think they gave him, did they give a yellow card? With that little skirmish, they gave a yellow card to Danny Lopez, and he has to go to the sideline. Classical will get the free kick from just inside midfield. Halimi, who has one of the goals, he got the penalty kick that they gave to Classical. Outstanding defenseman. Down deep. English kicks it away. Classical kicks it back. And it winds up a little shot hop. Zayas picks it off and kicks it away. High kick to midfield and beyond. English headed it upfield. Classical gives it back to Alvarez. All this going on right in front of the English bench. And they finally move it forward, down deep. Also trying to save it from going out. And English knocked it out. Trying to keep it alive, English knocks it away. Knocking it deep. Nobody there but a classical defender. And he's looking to let it go. Now he kicks it over. And Alvarez kicks it upfield. Classical brings it right back in the English end. I mentioned it before. English got out very quickly. They scored those first 2 goals. And Classical was very slow out of the block. And after that, Classical got that penalty kick, kind of picked them up, and they kind of took charge at the end of the half and scored 2 more. And they really picked it up after that. And English just hasn't really got close to anything after that. Now we got Classical player went down. English knocked him down. Classical tried to grab the leg of the English player. He went back, challenging the Classical player. Referee has to break them both up. It'll be English with the free kick. This is a tough game. I always say that, I always mention these games, whether it's whatever sport, the boys, the girls. I always say Thanksgiving in whatever month. This happened to be September. Anytime it's English and Classical. Used to be East Lynn against West Lynn. That doesn't happen anymore because you can live anywhere and go to either one. Now we got a takedown, and again, takedown, taking the ball away, and a little bit slow with the whistle. Classical player getting up. Classical's going. Now, if that was in the box, that could be a penalty kick. I'm not sure. They blew the whistle. I'm not sure why. They're giving English to throw, and the Classical player went down. They blew the whistle when the Classical player went down. I thought minimum Classical was going to get a free kick. I thought possibly if it was in the box, they might get a penalty kick. Instead, they gave the throw into English. I don't understand that call. They kick it all the way back to Alvarez. And he'll start it back upfield. English picks it off. Classical breaks it up. And I'm sorry, I hate to sound like a broken record, but they broke it up. The Classical player went down. The English kid went a yard or two with the ball, and then they blew the whistle for the free kick. Of course, I have to realize that this is the officials' first game of the year, too. They haven't done anything. So they're getting in the thick of things. They have to get seasoned, if you will. Penalty kick coming from the 21-yard line. I think it's Ailman. It could be Benitez. They drill it, and they got too much foot in it and drilled it hard, wide, off to the left and out of play. It was Benitez. And again, we're talking about English and Classical. obviously, no matter who you are, Swampscott, Marblehead, Salem, Peabody, English Classical, St. Mary's, now it's Austin Prep in their Thanksgiving. Whoever the teams are, you want to win every game. You start out the season, we're going to the tournament, we're going to win the league, we're trying to win the state championship. But when you get right down to it, obviously everybody can't do that. When you get to the point where naming the games that you really want to win during the season, it's these, English and Classical. Because when you beat Everett, Chelsea, Malden, Medford, nobody's going to remember that. But when you come back, future years for football, basketball, baseball, soccer, sitting in the stands, English and Classical kids, because they know each other, they grew up with each other, they played a lot of sports with and against each other. They'll be saying, remember the soccer game we played here, we beat you, we knocked you out of the tournament, remember the football game Thanksgiving Day. Those are the memories. That's why all these games, these particular games, are extremely important. Obviously, they're important in the standings to help you get to the tournament and win games. Help coaches rack up wins. But if you're going to win one game, it's English and Classical. There's more bodies going down. Another body goes down, and he's staying down. I don't know if there's no trainer here. The official was looking at the young man. He's up now, so he's okay. But I haven't seen any trainers. Miss Gagnon of St. Mary's was here earlier, quite a few times, but I don't see any trainers coming out. I hope they're here in case something happens. Classical takes the shot and scores. It was like, we can't control the ball. We can't control it. No, it's right there.
The one who scored was number 9. That's what you're looking for.
I thought it was him.
No, it's number 9.
I thought I had a different in scoring, but my camera people, now we got 2 players down. English players back up, Classical players down. They're saying Warner, Nolasco, Hernandez was the goal scorer. So now Classical has what English had, a 2-goal lead, and now we got another Classical player down, away from the play. Yeah, we do have a trainer that I see coming out. And was 2 English Classical players down on the far side near the Classical bench at about the 30-yard line. And when we finally both got up, I look over, and there's another player dead center, just inside the 40-yard line, laid out, and really laid out. So we're back to soccer, and I have to apologize. I never know. I say, hopefully, nobody ever gets hurt. You see them down, and you just never know because initially it looks like I'm dead. I got shot by a gun. And thank God, the next couple of seconds, they're up and walking or running to the sideline or running and staying in the game. So it's hard for me to say, I think he's seriously hurt or he's not seriously hurt because you just never know. There's so much contact with no pads whatsoever. And I laugh because they say, you don't wear pads because it's a non-contact sport. And I laugh every time they tell me that. I say, I don't think so. If this is soccer non-contact, I don't want to see soccer contact. English knocks it out. So it was English with the bragging rights early, scoring 2 quick goals, grabbing a 2-0 lead, looking good. And then Glasgow finally picked it up. They got a penalty kick. And Halimi knocked it home, and that gave them a little bit of momentum, and they scored 2 more to take a 3-2 lead at the end of the half. They come out, and they get another one here to make it 4-2, and they've really picked up the pace since that early going. And now it's English with a 2-goal deficit trying to fight their way back. They blow the whistle. I think he stepped in bounds throwing it in. So English will get the throw in. Ailman gets it in. And it's taken away by Glasgow. They try to knock it deep. English knocks it away. And they knock it deep down the far side. English has to hustle to get there to keep it in. He flipped it over the Glasgow's head, trying to get around him, and it got broken up. He didn't try to deke him and go around him. He flipped it over the Glasgow player's head. And we got a takedown, and the English players down. They slid in around the ankles and took them out. And thank God he's up okay. But the ball went to midfield, dead center. And they both went sliding, and Glasgow slid and took the English player down. Took him right out. Hit him right around the ankles and wiped him out. I think this is Benitez again with a free kick. From the 26. Referee separating everybody, moving English's Glasgow's picket fence back, as I call it. Again, he shakes his head again. Again, he got too much foot into it. He kicked it for a field goal through the uprights of the football goalpost. But he drilled it high over the net, way out of play. And now we got a little to do. Has to be separated. And it gets knocked out, I think, by English. blow the whistle for some reason. They were getting together again. Temper's flaring a little bit. People are getting a little irate with the contact in this non-contact sport. English trying to center it. The only one here were white shirts. English keeping it in the classical end, heading it forward. And now English kicks it out of play. Kick it up in the seats and it went out the exit. Winds up behind the stands on the other side. Haskell with a rush. Nice little shift, gets around. Still going. Quick stop. Starts it again. Nice job taking it upfield. He got the pass across before they could make the shot. English defense made the play. And it got knocked out. Halfway through and counting this second half. 4-2 Classical. From the near side. Out in front, headed in. All by himself. Ryan Ernest Dunn. I don't know if he's son of the principal, Amy Dunn. The kick was right in dead center. Dunn went high in the air and knocked it in. And now we got a Classical player getting knocked down by an English player. And the official just said to the player, go to the sideline. He was the player that got a yellow card before. And he just, there was no play. The ball wasn't there. It wasn't like he was going for the ball. And I don't know whether he's angry over the score or the game or somebody said something. But he just, and now I don't understand. They send the English player to the sideline. They knock the Classical player down. And English is getting a free kick. So they have to explain this to me. Call in the heavy artillery. Bodies are going everywhere. Tempers are flaring. English and Classical. People getting banged, people getting whacked, people getting knocked down. You don't like to see this. This is not the way to play this game. The way to beat the other team and make them feel bad is to beat them. You know, you're losing, you lose with class, you win with class. I didn't understand another call. The classical player got knocked down. They sent the English player to the bench, and then they gave English a free kick. Alvarez had to make a save on that kick that was about 60 yards to the net. And here's another takedown. That was inadvertent. That was just getting tied up together, ankles and bodies going down. But the way this game started, you thought, boy, I wish I had a bet on Lynn English. 2-0. They're dominating. Who would have thunk this? 5 straight goals by Classical. There's another Classical player going down. He tried to go between 2 defenders and couldn't. He knocked it ahead and he tried to go between 2 defenders and go get the ball. And all 3 came together. I don't know if they maybe knocked the wind out of them or. We still have 16 minutes left in this game, and we hope everybody survives. It has been extremely physical on both sides. Players have gone down. We hope it's just the wind got knocked out of them, being squashed between 2 English defenders, trying to squeeze through. English scored the first 2. Look, they had everything going their way. Glasgow got that penalty kick, and everything turned around after that. I like to see the player get up. They connected with the penalty kick. Got 2 more to take a 3-2 lead at the end of the half. They've got 2 more here. They've scored 5 in a row. I think it's going to be English kicking it away. So, I mean, it wasn't that there should have been a penalty on that play. There was the Classical player knocked it beyond the 2 English players and then tried to squeeze between the 2 of them. Out in front, shot got blocked. I think it blocked off one of his own players. Great rush again. It got deflected out in front. Again, they were in perfect position. And he took the shot, and I think it was a Classical player cutting in front of the net that it went off of. And then it finally got knocked out by English. And Klaus was going to wind up with a corner kick, I think. Coming from the far side. Bouncing around. Picked off by Zayas, and he'll kick it away. English kicks it ahead, looking to go get it. High bounce, English, it's loose. It's in the net. It bounced high in the air. The defender and the goaltender and the goal scorer all came together and they got a head on it and knocked it in. Luis Lopez got a head on it, and the goaltender went down with the defender going down, and the ball just rolled in inside the far post. So he gets a little closer at 5-3. It was great hustle getting downfield, and it took a big hop, and when it did, he went up in the air, got a head on it. He came together. I don't know if he even saw the ball go in the net. He went up, got his head on it. The defender and the goaltender came together. The defender went down. Ball went by everybody and just rolled in the net. That is at the side of the net, the long kick downfield. Alvarez will kick it away. Glasgow picked off the pass. And here's a little push from behind. The player goes down. Glasgow with another free kick. We've had a lot of free kicks to go along with one penalty kick. Coming from the 35-yard line. Off Glasgow, deflecting it away from the net. Little shift gets through. Glasgow with it. Shot blocked nicely by English. They knock it deep, and it becomes a foot race. English got there first. They knocked it ahead, but they knocked it way too far. Alvarez comes out and gets it and dives it and lays on the turf for a couple of seconds, probably trying to get a rest. And contact again. Glasgow will get a free kick. They're reaching in with their foot to try and take the ball away, but at the same time, they're making contact with the body, causing the whistles. Long kick again. Glasgow trying to get a foot on it, couldn't. Headed away by English. Popped up again. Glasgow just took it away. English comes back and takes it back. Glasgow breaks it up. And they knock it down deep. Stays in play. English picks it off. They knock it deep. He couldn't save it. Klaus was going to let it go. 10 minutes and counting left in this one. And unless lightning strikes here, we're going to have a Marino family final yet again. Eric Sr. against Eric Jr. And it'll be Eric Sr. along with his assistant coach, Brianna Moreno. So Eric Jr. will be up against the rest of the family. From long range, wide right. I think that's Halimi kicking it away. Got that big left foot. Glasgow went up in the air to knock headed away, and they went underneath and took him down. So Glasgow gets another free kick. English is trying to get a goal to make the last couple of minutes interesting. They trailed by 2. Glasgow breaks it up, and he brings it back the other way. English breaks it up nicely. Glasgow gets it back. Back checking by English takes it away. And Glasgow takes it back. I'm not sure what that. Oh, now the whistles. There's a English player upfield sitting down. 6:51 left in this one. Hammers the player down. Again, it's not a cold night. Running up and down, first time real game under the lights, going full speed. Might tighten up. They kind of stretch that leg out. They haven't had a long period of practices before getting ready. Workouts, if you will. Kerry King was out checking on his player. Favoring that right ankle or foot a little bit. They're going to come over to the near side, and the trainer will check them out there. So they'll get off the field and get back to soccer, and she can work on Aylman. That's Jose Aylman. English getting there, keeping it in. Benitez tipped it and taken away, and it got knocked out by Glasgow. Glasgow taking it back, knocking it deep. English picks it off and knocks it the other way. Benitez with it. Got it right to the middle. And they made contact with him. They bumped him or pushed him. And Benitez will get another free kick. Now that was a virtual touch. Some of the players getting knocked down. There's no calls. Just a tough game to ref because do I call it a takedown? Do I let it go? Benitez gets it up. Klasko got a foot on it. He tried to. The last two free kicks, he blasted them way too far, too much foot. So now he just kind of pooched it, if you will, to try and get it to somebody breaking from that mass of humanity lining up 10 yards away from him. And English did a nice job of reaching back and getting a foot on, Klasko, getting a foot on and breaking up the play. The clock is now the enemy for the English Bulldogs. These teams will get together a couple of more times during the regular season. Again, during the Greater Boston League season, which I still can't get used to. And we've got just over 4 minutes left in the game. And we got a timeout down on the field. I mentioned the clock is the enemy for English. They need 2 goals, and we're under 4 minutes left in the game. And who would have thought this when English led 2-0 early in the first half? And we got another player down. It's like a mash unit. Everybody's taking a turn going to the ground. Everybody being bumped and bruised and battered. And for some of these kids, tomorrow will be the first day of school. Some of the schools started today. A lot of the, I don't know if it's juniors, seniors, start tomorrow. And they're going to be sore. English lost it. Glasgow took it away. And if nothing else, Glasgow's got it in the English end. Now they kick it too far. English will get a throw-in. Glasgow can just be content kicking it to the English end and keeping it there because the clock is on their side, the score is on their side. English just broke that up. Looked like Glasgow's setting up to get a shot. Now they get a shot just over the top crossbar. They took it away and got a scoring opportunity and just knocked it out of play. And there's 2 more bodies going down. might want to end this now before somebody gets killed. The free kick will come from outside the 45-yard line. Thank God both guys are getting up. It pops loose, it goes out of play. The clock says 2 minutes now. The official just blew the whistle and said that's the game. So the game is over. The clock just went to 2 minutes. English is wondering how that works. But the official blew the whistle, and the game is history. So English got out quickly. They scored the first 2 goals of the game. Jose Aylman very quickly scored the goal. And then shortly after that, it was Christian Benitez knocking one off the goaltender, deflected into the back of the net. And it was 2-0, and English was rolling, and Glasgow was lethargic coming out of the gate. And then all of a sudden, Glasgow woke up. They got a penalty kick. And with the penalty kick, it was Elzon Halimi knocking it home to make it 2-1. Shortly after that, Jaren Emmanuel Morales scored to tie the game at 2-2. And then Omar Payas Gonzalez got the goal to make it 3-2. 3 straight goals by Glasgow made it 3-2 at halftime for the Rams. Glasgow come out and got 2 more. Wayner Nolasco Hernandez got the 4th. And then Ryan Ernest Dunn got the 5th to make it 5-2. English got back on the board on a great long pass and a tip. The goaltender and the defender came together, and Luis Lopez got his head on it. He got stalled. I don't think any one of the 3 of them saw the ball go in. It rolled by all 3 of them and just rolled into the far corner of the net, made it 5-3. And that was the final score as the clock runs out on English. So they're going to, Glasgow, very lethargic starting, but then Glasgow kind of dominated after that. Alvarez in net for Glasgow had a tough time giving up the first 2 goals, but then very peacefully after that, he didn't really have to make any big saves. And on the other side, Zayas was very busy in the Bulldog net. And it winds up with Glasgow scoring 5 consecutive goals after English took a 5-2 lead. English got the last goal, but too little too late. And Glasgow will go to 1-0 on the early season. English will go to 0-1, and it will be an all Moreno, family final. Lynn Tech against Lynn Classical, and it's been that way a couple of times in the past, and I think it might have been the last 2 years. So 5-3, Glasgow over English. They win this Thanksgiving in September game. They'll move on to the championship final to take on Tech. English will play St. Mary's in the consolation round. So 5-3, Glasgow over English. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.